Today I'm going to be talking about tomatoes, what's returning from last year, and what is new on the docket for this year. Also, I'll show you the new varieties of other vegetables that I'm growing. I'm glad that you wanted to join me today. Let's just hop right into talking tomato. These are the friends that are returning to be grown again this year. Number 3 in our taste test was Tim's Taste of Paradise, and it is every bit as good as Sun Gold in my opinion and doesn't split. They're slightly smaller and very productive, and they freeze very well, which was great because I could just toss them in omelets and that kind of thing. The Dr. White Cheese Yellow, oh my goodness, was this my hero? What a productive tomato. It had a very strong stem that held up just a lot of tomatoes for one plant. Delicious, and it also produced my largest tomato, which was 2.2 pounds. And the Lucid Gem was the number 1 tastiest tomato in our taste test. It's got purple anthracene shoulders and just a really pretty tomato. Usually when you cut it open, you get a burst of red inside the yellow. It's fruity, it's juicy, it's low acid, and that burst of flavor is just so complex. I'm also doing Mr. Tartar's German, which is a very large red tomato, Castelluto Genovese, which I enjoyed so much for cooking in particular. It came into production early. It's an Italian heirloom, and it just stayed with the big boys through the whole summer, kicking out tomatoes, and I made a lot of salsa and a lot of sauce from that plant. And Steve had sent me last year Santium Sunrise, which is another cherry tomato, larger than Sun Gold, doesn't split, just as tasty as well, without all the problems, and you can save the seeds. Now, Britain's Breakfast I really liked as a cooker, but I may have to bounce it simply because I have so many tomatoes that I'm going to do. So new this year is Copper River. Allie sent me this last year from my rusty garden up in Canada. It's a beefsteak that was developed in the Napa Valley of California, and this one is a semi-determinate. It has a copper color, and then it becomes red with pink and metallic green reflections when it's ripe. It is known to have an exceptional complex flavor and good disease resistance. I wanted this in my garden last year, but there just wasn't room. Making room this year. Heinz 1350 VF. Now this is a tomato that Danny is sending me. Danny at the Grow Up channel. And it's noted to be great for making ketchup. It's a determinate tomato. It was developed in the 80s by a Heinz Canada breeder named Dale Smith. Make sure that you go over and check out Danny's channel, the Grow Up channel, and watch the tomato special. I was lucky enough to be a guest on that last week. Next is one from Renee's garden. It has 3 tomatoes in the pack, and I couldn't resist. This chocolate cherry is the only one that I knew about beforehand, but there's also pink champagne and mango apricot in this packet. The chocolate cherry goes from a green to a lavender to a mahogany when it's ripe. It has a gourmet flavor, or is touted for a gourmet flavor. You get about 6 to 8 fruits per truss. That pink champagne has a Brix of 9.5, so that's really, really exciting me. So sweet enough, but not stupid sweet. It's supposed to have the taste of a big tomato in a small package. And then lastly, the mango apricot. It's noted to have a very sweet, intensely fruity flavor. And there's not much out there about that one on the internet. Next up is one I am really, really excited about. This is a cross between the Cherokee Purple and the Carbon, two heirloom tomatoes. Cherokee Purple for years was our top tomato in this house, but it was a fussy one and I had to babysit it a lot. So I'm excited about this cross because it is supposed to be much better, great production, less cracking, rich flavor, and then have that yummy purple red tone that I'm used to with the Cherokee Purple. I am looking forward to a lot of things this year to grow in my garden, but this probably tops the list. Cuban salami. Chris over at the Veggie Plot sent this one to me, and if you've never seen one of his tomato taste testing videos, get over there pronto and have a look because, wow, he does such a great job. This one was described as juicy, savory, umami by the buckets, great depth of flavor, sweet, fresh. And guess what? It just looks good too. Check out those stripes. I cannot wait to grow this one. Chris also sent me this one, so I've got to find room for it. It's fruity and has a light acid to it, but quite tasty. And the third one that Chris sent me is this Summer of Love. It's described by Wild Boar Farms as an improvement of the Berkeley tie-dye, comes in earlier and is more productive. Can't wait, can't wait, can't wait. Up next is the Principa Borghese, which Audrey at Real Food Comes Dirty up in Detroit suggested I do. She loves them for a dehydrated tomato. They're also great sun-dried. They're very meaty. It's a determinant tomato. And I have a friend up in Wisconsin that says she loves them to make summer salads because they have the high flavor with low juice. Looking forward to this one as well. Ellie at my Rusty Garden up in Canada sent me this one. She's trying quite a few more determinants or dwarf type tomatoes. And this one comes from the Dwarf Tomato Project. It's less sprawling than most indeterminate varieties, suitable for containers, kind of medium sized. It has a well-balanced flavor and good for slicing and saucing. The last one I want to give a go to is this tomato tumbler. So a small tomato meant for a basket, and I think I'm actually going to try it in my new green stalk tower. But it's an F1 variety, and they don't get very big, but it's a pretty darn good producer, they say, and has a nice taste. So I'm going for it. All right, 2 more veggies for the garden. Radicchio, I'm trying for the 3rd time, so maybe it's a charm. The last 2 varieties I've tried were supposed to be red, but they weren't. They were leafy green types and not tasty. Hoping this is my winner. And I don't know what possessed me to do this, but this is the green striped cushaw squash. These get huge. I mean, this could weigh 15 pounds. And I don't really have room for it, but I'm thinking of putting it in one of my new birdie beds and letting it just sprawl out onto the ground and see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't get struck by the squash vine borer. Here's 2 flowers that I'm giving a go. I just thought that those calendula were so unique looking. Kind of a unique pink tinged apricot look Their frilly double flowers caught my eye for sure. And then a new variety of marigold, and you can't have too many marigolds in the garden, drawing in those beneficial insects like parasitic wasps, hoverflies, ladybugs, and repelling those nematode baddies. Well, I'm switching up my flower game this year a bit, and you know me, if it is a true blue flower, I'm going to give it a go. The celestial blue are supposed to be more blue than purple in the pansies, and then this one is a mix that's supposed to have a lot of rich blue tones in it. And Gumfrina, I'm going to give a go to, hopefully for some bouquets, as well as the Envy zinnia. I thought that would make a nice mix in my bouquets. And I love snaps beyond words, and this one just looks too cool. The Bizarre Mix. Had to do it, just had to do it. Okay, 3 more veg and an herb. This is the Dwarf Gray Sugar Pea. It has pink and burgundy blooms on it and comes off pretty quick, which I need because our summers can heat up fast. And a new variety of a golden beet called the Touchstone that sounded quite interesting. And from the Frankie brand, I got some Chimney de Rapa. And if it's lemon, it's in Robin's garden, and this one is a lemon cilantro, so I had to give that a go. Well, here are 4 more veg that I'm going to be doing. That's the Clancy potato from seed. You'll hear a lot more about that as I'm doing a grow along with some other YouTuber friends. And the baby pixie cabbage. This is a much smaller, space-saving variety, has a very tight, compact head, and matures more quickly. So, very excited about that. Thank you, Allie. And I got the Sugar Snap hybrid carrot. It's supposed to be long, slender, and very sweet. Thought I'd give it a go. And the Kalima bush bean was at the encouragement of my friend Audrey up at Real Food Comes Dirty in Detroit. So, Audrey, I'm doing it this year finally. So 3 varieties of flowers. This one is the Senora. It's a salmon color zinnia. Love it. This Grandma's mix just caught my eyes, kind of wispy looking conglomeration of flowers. Thought I'd give that a try. And you can never, ever, ever, ever have too many snapdragons in your garden. So I'm going to give this maximum blend a try. And these are quite interesting. This is the Caliente Mustard brand. This is to be a biofumigant and help me with my root knot nematode problem so that my carrots don't come out inedible. I'm getting some winter savory on the go here shortly. And this is just to have in my arsenal, a cover crop of red clover. Last year when the cucumber beetles took out my melons, I had an open patch and I could have put a cover crop on, and I didn't have one. So now I've got one in my arsenal, so if that happens again, I can use it. And then the stevia. Quite excited about growing stevia. Audrey suggested it. She's been doing it now for a few years, and I thought that sounds interesting to get that on the go. 4 new peppers to try. This patchwork pepper comes from row 7, where the chefs and the farmers work together to make the tastiest produce. And the Joe's Long Cayenne won't be for our eating pleasure because it's got a 30 to 60,000 Scoville, but it's to grow the longest pepper for Jason's longest pepper challenge over on his channel, Allotment of the Dead. And another paprika to try. Last year I tried Alma So this year I'll probably do Alma again along with this Hungarian. This one has about 1,000 to 15,000 Scoville, and I'm going to try to figure out how to get these smoked possibly, because that just sounds so interesting to have smoked paprika. And I got some jalapenos specifically because I am making cowboy candy this year. I am getting on the bandwagon. This week's video was almost by request because I had people asking me, hey Robin, what you growing? And I thought, oh, what the heck? I'd let you know exactly what I'm growing, and it would give you enough time to acquire the seeds if you possibly wanted to try something that I'm going to be trying. Remember, sometimes the only thing we harvest is knowledge, and that's okay. Bye for now. We'll see you on the next one.